Hey everyone, Mr. Portland Landlord here. If you've been watching the Portland multifamily numbers this summer, you've probably felt that familiar mix of relief and residual pressure. The heavy oversupply pain of the last couple of years is easing. Absorption is finally outpacing new deliveries in several major reports. Occupancy has ticked up in places, and yet asking rents remain essentially flat. Effective rents are still getting nibbled by concessions in the softer pockets, and operating costs, especially insurance, utilities, and maintenance, keep climbing. The market isn't collapsing, it's transitioning. And for Oregon landlords, property managers, and investors, that transition demands disciplined, data-driven decisions rather than panic or wishful thinking. Let's start with the snapshot from Q2 and mid-2026 data, so we're all looking at the same picture. CBRE reported Portland multifamily occupancy at 95.3% at the end of Q2 2026, up 50 basis points from the prior quarter. Net absorption hit 1,997 units while only 928 units delivered. Clear evidence that demand is catching up. Average rent per unit came in at $1,750, up a modest 0.9% quarter over quarter. Investment sales volume jumped 48% to $309.3 million. Kidder Mathews painted a slightly softer but still stabilizing picture. Vacancy at 7.1%, down 10 basis points year over year, and improved from 7.4% in Q1. Average asking rent of $1,656, essentially flat year over year, and under construction inventory down sharply to 4,215 units. Year-to-date absorption through Q2 was still positive at 2,604 units. Multifamily NW's Spring 2026 survey of roughly 29 to 30,000 units showed overall Portland-Vancouver vacancy around 6.25%, with sharp submarket differences. Downtown and Southwest Portland were the softest at around 8.6%, while Inner and Central Northeast, North Portland, and Clackamas County tightened noticeably. Class B and C product often perform better than newer Class A in several datasets. Moody's and Chase data put overall vacancy near 6.4%, with Class B and C tighter at 5.6%. GREA's Summer 2026 insights reinforced the bigger story. The construction pipeline has thinned dramatically. Deliveries peaked near 8,700 units in 2024, dropped in 2025, and are forecast well under 2,500 for 2026, one of the thinner pipelines among major Western metros. Longer-term forecasts point to rent growth resuming in 2027 as supply stays constrained. Colliers and related coverage highlighted the concession pressure and a looming loan maturity wall of roughly $3.4 billion across nearly 200 properties. Employment and population trends remain soft in some measures, which helps explain why landlords are still using concessions even as absorption improves. The bottom line from the data is soft to stabilizing, with meaningful submarket variation. Downtown and Southwest remain tougher. Southeast, Clackamas, and certain Class B and C pockets look healthier. Asking rents are flat to modestly higher. Effective rents face pressure from concessions. Costs keep rising. The pipeline is thinning, and that is the single most constructive longer-term signal. Southeast Portland and Clackamas submarkets have shown tighter conditions than downtown and Southwest in the mid-2026 data. Now let's talk about the key headwinds. Rising operating costs are the real grind right now. Insurance premiums, utilities, especially in family-oriented East Side submarkets, maintenance and security continue to climb faster than most owners can pass through under Oregon's rent cap rules. The statewide maximum annual increase for most covered tenancies in 2026 is 9.5%, the lesser of 10% or 7% plus the West Region CPY under ORS 90.323 and the DAS calculation. That is helpful, but not unlimited, and it does not apply during the first year of a tenancy. You still have to give proper 90-day notice for increases after year one, and you may only raise once in any 12-month period. Higher concession usage to fill units, soft employment and population trends in some data, and the approaching maturity wall create refinancing and cash flow pressure for leveraged owners. Across-the-board heavy concessions today can create problems later when the market tightens and you try to normalize rents or non-renew selective tenants. The stabilizing signals worth watching start with the construction pipeline. That's the bright spot. Deliveries have fallen sharply and under-construction numbers are down dramatically from the peak. Positive net absorption has returned in multiple reports. The large rent versus buy gap continues to support demand from households that cannot or choose not to purchase. Longer-term forecasts from CoStar and others see rent growth returning in 2027 and strengthening thereafter, as supply remains constrained by the urban growth boundary and higher development costs. This next part matters most for cash flow and compliance heading into fall renewal season. On renewal and pricing strategy, pull current submarket comps and your own trailing occupancy and concession data. Underwrite every renewal against the Oregon 9.5% cap or the lower manufactured home park and marina caps where applicable. Modest, targeted concessions can make sense to retain a strong-paying, low-maintenance resident. Blanket-free rent offers that later look like preferential treatment invite risk under ORS 90.385 on retaliation and fair housing scrutiny. Document why you offered what you offered. Keep the face rent as clean as possible so you have room to normalize later. For the retention playbook, early outreach beats reactive scrambling. Reach out 90 to 120 days before lease end. Offer small compliant value adds like updated lighting, smart locks where cost-effective, or better communication rather than large rent cuts. Handle partial payments and late rent consistently. Our PAROA helpline volume on non-payment, damages, and PDX-specific rules remains elevated, which tells us inconsistent processes are still creating avoidable friction. Apply your late fee and partial payment policies the same way every time. Data-driven renewal underwriting and consistent late rent processes remain critical while the Portland multifamily market stabilizes. On cost control and operations, shop insurance aggressively. Implement or tighten RUBS, ratio utility billing systems, where legally allowed and properly disclosed. Double down on preventive maintenance to reduce turnover damage claims. Track utility usage by unit type and submarket. East Side family properties in particular have shown higher utility costs in recent operator feedback. For leasing and marketing adjustments, focus your energy on the tighter submarkets and unit types that are performing. Keep detailed records of every marketing effort, showing, and application decision. Portland's local overlays and the statewide screening rules reward clean documentation. Compliance guardrails are non-negotiable. When you raise rent or non-renew, make sure the timing, notice, and stated reason cannot be painted as retaliation. Give the required notice periods. Be consistent across similarly situated tenants. Multnomah County and City of Portland rules add extra layers. Know which properties sit inside which boundaries. On the portfolio decision framework, for owners facing maturities in 2027, run hold versus selective sale or refinance scenarios now, while the longer-term supply picture is improving. Cap rates have moved higher. Pricing has stabilized in many Class B and C deals. The thinning pipeline supports a more constructive 12 to 18-month outlook, but near-term cash flow pressure is real. And now a couple shameless plugs. If you own rental property in the Portland Metro or Central Oregon and the operational load is eating your time or exposing you to risk, Northwest Real Estate and Property Management is built for exactly this environment. We handle full management or targeted eviction support with Oregon-specific systems that keep owners compliant and cash flow focused. Visit www.nwrpm.com. Joining the Portland Area Rental Owners Association gives you access to landlord forms, continuing education that actually addresses Oregon and Portland rules, the helpline for real-time guidance, and a network of owners. Membership is one of the highest ROI decisions a local rental owner can make right now, especially when the operating environment is this nuanced. Learn more at www.paroa.org. All right, back to the market outlook. Looking ahead into fall and winter 2026 and into 2027, seasonal demand usually softens after the summer leasing peak. So expect some continued concession pressure into the fall. The thinning pipeline and limited new deliveries should start to support firmer occupancy by late 2026 into 2027. Middle housing and SRO reforms may add some competition over time, but the near-term supply constraint remains the dominant story. Owners should watch quarterly occupancy by submarket, concession burn rate, insurance renewal quotes, and actual effective rent growth. Review your current concessions this month. Pull fresh rent comps by submarket. Schedule insurance quotes early. And audit your late rent and partial payment processes against the high-volume issues we see on the PAROA helpline. The market is soft, but not broken. Landlords who stay disciplined on pricing within the Oregon rent cap, consistent on collections and documentation, and proactive on cost control will be in the best position when the recovery firms up. What submarket are you seeing the biggest shift in right now? Downtown, Southeast, Clackamas, or somewhere else? Drop it in the comments so we can compare notes.